Have you ever noticed how a single health headline can stay with you long after you turn off the screen? Especially late at night when everything feels quieter and thoughts feel heavier. One of my patients once shared with me that what unsettled her most was not the illness itself, but the feeling of not fully understanding what she was hearing. Now I want you to imagine this. You are sitting in a calm, familiar space, listening to a steady voice that helps things make sense instead of adding more worry. I am Dr. Evelyn Carter, and for many years I have cared for older adults who value peace of mind just as much as physical health. I know that unfamiliar health news can feel unsettling, especially when sleep is lighter, memory feels more delicate, or anxiety comes more easily than it once did. From real clinical experience, I can tell you that new viruses often feel more frightening simply because they are not well understood. The Nipah virus is not new, and it is not common in daily life here in the United States. Most seniors are not at immediate risk. Still, the word cure can easily create confusion. In medicine, we do not always talk about one single cure. Often, we focus on careful monitoring, supportive care, and prevention. That difference matters, especially for older adults who deserve clarity without alarm. So the central question we will explore together is gentle and honest. Is the Nipah virus cure a myth, or is it a medical reality? This conversation is not about fear. It is about balance between science, nature, and calm caregiving. It is about understanding enough to let the body and mind settle. For today, understanding alone is enough. You do not need to change your routines or stay alert. Think of this as a quiet conversation with a doctor who respects your dignity and your pace. If you find this kind of calm explanation helpful, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share Senior Health Daily. It helps us continue creating steady, reassuring content for older adults across the country. In the next part, we will walk slowly through the facts, caregiving insight, and practical perspective design need, especially for seniors, always keeping calm and clarity at the center of our time together. What Nipah virus really is. Now that we are settled into this conversation, I want to begin by explaining what the Nipah virus truly is, in a way that feels steady and understandable. When people hear the word virus, the mind often fills in the blanks with worst-case images. In medicine, though, details matter. And details can be reassuring. The Nipah virus is primarily an animal virus. It lives most naturally in certain animals and only very rarely reaches humans. This point is essential for peace of mind, especially as we grow older and become more sensitive to stress. Rarity is not a small detail. It means the virus does not move easily through everyday life. It does not circulate widely among people, and it does not behave like common respiratory illnesses that pass quickly from one person to another. From a basic scientific standpoint, Nipah virus transmission requires very specific conditions. The virus needs a clear pathway to move from an animal host into the human body. That pathway usually involves close contact with infected animal fluids or prolonged exposure in limited outbreak settings. These are not situations most older adults encounter in their daily routines, especially here in the United States. I want to share something I learned early in my medical career. When patients understand how uncommon a condition truly is, their bodies respond almost immediately. Breathing becomes slower. Shoulders relax, sleep improves. This physical response is not imagined. It reflects how closely the nervous system and immune system work together. Calm understanding supports health. Another important point is that a virus does not become more dangerous simply because we talk about it. Awareness does not create risk. Confusion does. When information lacks context, the mind stays alert for danger that is not present. Over time, that constant alertness can weaken immunity, increase inflammation, and worsen memory and balance. In senior care, we see this clearly. Older adults who feel reassured tend to recover more smoothly from everyday illnesses. They maintain routines more easily. They remain socially engaged. Those routines protect both physical and cognitive health. So when we talk about Nipah virus, we are not describing something hidden in grocery stores, public spaces, or casual interactions. We are describing a virus that scientists study carefully because of its unique behavior, not because it is spreading widely. Understanding this allows the mind to rest. You are not missing warning signs. You are not behind. You are simply learning at a pace that respects your body and your experience. This foundation of calm understanding will help everything else we discuss settle more gently and clearly. Why fruit bats are studied. When people first hear that fruit bats are connected to the Nipah virus, it is natural for concern to rise. I have seen this reaction many times in my patients. The mind often jumps to fear before understanding has a chance to settle in. This is why it matters to pause and look at fruit bats in their proper context. Fruit bats are part of healthy ecosystems. They pollinate plants, spread seeds, and help forests regenerate. Long before modern medicine existed, they quietly supported balance in nature. They are not aggressive animals, and they are not searching for human contact. Most of the time, their lives unfold far away from ours, without any interaction at all. What makes fruit bats important to science is not danger, but resilience. Their immune systems work differently from ours. While the human immune system often reacts to viruses with strong inflammation that causes illness, bats tend to tolerate certain viruses without becoming sick. Their immune response stays active but controlled. This allows them to coexist with viruses rather than fight them aggressively. Scientists study this because it teaches an important lesson about balance. In simple terms, too much immune reaction can sometimes cause harm. In older adults, we see this clearly. Excess inflammation can worsen joint pain, fatigue, memory problems, and recovery from illness. By understanding how bats manage immune balance, researchers gain insight into how the human immune system might be supported more gently. This connection matters deeply in senior health. As we age, the body benefits from steadiness rather than extremes. Calm routines, emotional safety, and reduced stress help keep inflammation lower and immune responses more effective. Nature often models this balance better than anything else. It is also important to understand that science does not study fruit bats to assign blame. Problems only arise when natural boundaries are disrupted, such as when wildlife habitats overlap too closely with food systems or living spaces. Even then, public health responses focus on prevention and education, not fear. From years of caregiving, I have learned that fear itself can be more harmful than the information that triggers it. When older adults feel alarmed, sleep becomes lighter, digestion slows, and memory feels less reliable. When explanations are calm and grounded, the body settles. Respecting nature means respecting balance. Fruit bats remind us that health is not about eliminating risk entirely, but about understanding how systems work together. Science learns from that balance so that humans can live more safely within it. This perspective allows us to stay curious without becoming afraid. It helps us see the bigger picture, where knowledge brings confidence and understanding replaces unnecessary worry. How transmission actually happens. One of the most reassuring things I can share with you is how Nipah virus transmission truly happens. It does not spread casually like colds or the flu. You do not catch it from passing someone in a store, sitting near others in public, or sharing everyday spaces. That distinction alone helps many older adults breathe a little easier. When doctors and scientists studied past Nipah outbreaks, a clear pattern emerged. Transmission was uncommon and very localized. In most cases, the virus moved from animals to humans only under very specific circumstances. For example, in some regions, people consumed raw foods that had been directly contaminated by infected animal fluids. These situations were tied to particular practices and environments, not to ordinary daily life. There were also limited cases where the virus spread between people, but again, the conditions were unusual. This typically happened during prolonged, close caregiving contact without protective measures, often in medical or household settings where someone was already very ill. This kind of exposure requires time, closeness, and repeated contact. It is very different from how common respiratory illnesses move through communities. I want to pause here and share something from my years of caring for seniors. Many people hear the word outbreak and imagine something invisible moving everywhere. That image alone can disrupt sleep and raise anxiety. The science tells a calmer story. Nipah virus does not move easily. It needs a narrow pathway, and that pathway is well understood by public health professionals. This matters greatly for everyday senior routines. Activities like preparing meals, walking outside, visiting family, or attending appointments remain safe. Familiar habits do not need to change. In fact, keeping routines steady is one of the best ways to support immune health and emotional balance. In dementia care, this clarity is especially important. When people feel uncertain about their safety, confusion can increase. Clear reassurance helps the brain feel oriented and protected. Saying that daily life is safe and unchanged often brings more comfort than detailed explanations about rare risks. From a medical perspective, it is also important to remember that public health systems are designed to detect and respond quickly to unusual patterns. Outbreaks are studied precisely so they can remain contained. This layered protection allows individuals, especially elders, to live without carrying constant concern. So when we talk about Nipah virus transmission, we are not describing a hidden danger in everyday life. We are describing a rare event that requires very specific conditions. Knowing this allows you to continue your routines with confidence, preserving the rhythm and dignity that support healthy aging. Aging and the immune system. As we grow older, the immune system changes in ways that are both subtle and meaningful. It does not simply weaken. It becomes more selective and more influenced by what is happening in the mind and nervous system. This is something I have seen repeatedly in my clinical work with older adults. One of the strongest threats to immunity in seniors is not rare viruses, but ongoing stress. I have cared for many patients whose lab results and physical symptoms worsened during periods of prolonged worry. Their sleep became lighter, their balance felt less steady, and their memory seemed more fragile. When we addressed stress and restored calm routines, their overall health often improved without any change in medication. The science behind this is simple. Chronic stress releases hormones that interfere with immune signaling. These hormones increase inflammation, which affects joints, muscles, and brain function. In older adults, this inflammation can contribute to fatigue, confusion, and a higher risk of falls. Stress keeps the body in a constant state of alert, using energy that should be supporting repair and resilience. Calm routines do the opposite. Regular sleep times, familiar meals, gentle movement, and predictable daily rhythms signal safety to the brain. When the brain feels safe, inflammation decreases and the immune system works more efficiently. This is especially important for memory and balance. Poor sleep and heightened anxiety can worsen forgetfulness and make walking feel less secure. In dementia care, emotional safety is essential. When individuals feel rushed or alarmed, confusion increases. When the environment feels calm and familiar, the brain conserves energy for thinking, recognizing faces, and navigating daily tasks. Reassurance becomes a form of preventive medicine. From years of caregiving, I have learned that older adults thrive when their days feel predictable and supported. Calm does not mean passive. It means steady. It means knowing what to expect and trusting that help is available when needed. This is why discussions about health must be handled gently. Information should support peace, not disturb it. When seniors feel emotionally safe, their immune systems respond better, their sleep deepens, and their confidence grows. Aging with dignity is not about avoiding every possible illness. It is about creating an environment where the body can do what it does best when given calm, respect, and routine. What science learned from past outbreaks. When scientists and doctors look back at past Nipah outbreaks, the lessons are steady and reassuring. What protected people most was not fear or drastic change, but early detection, careful food practices, and thoughtful caregiving. These are the same quiet protections that support senior health every day. Early detection made a meaningful difference. In areas where healthcare workers recognized symptoms quickly and confirmed diagnoses early, spread was limited and care became more focused. This kind of watchfulness is calm and methodical. It gives families and caregivers time to respond without confusion. From my experience, older adults feel safer when they know that systems are paying attention on their behalf. That sense of being watched over reduces stress and helps routines stay intact. Food safety was another powerful protector. In past outbreaks, simple steps such as washing produce, covering food, and avoiding raw items that could be exposed overnight reduced risk significantly. These practices may sound ordinary, but they are deeply effective. Many seniors already follow them because they grew up valuing careful kitchens and clean preparation. Science confirmed what experience already taught. Routine habits protect health. Caregiving precautions also worked well. When caregivers used basic protective steps during prolonged close care, transmission slowed and often stopped. This was especially important in healthcare settings and family homes, where compassion naturally brings people close together. What stands out is how effective simple awareness can be. No extreme measures were needed. Clear guidance and consistency made the difference. These lessons highlight something very important for older adults. You are not expected to manage health risks alone. Public health systems exist to protect individuals, especially elders. Hospitals, community health workers, and monitoring programs work quietly in the background, so daily life can continue without constant concern. This shared responsibility allows seniors to focus on living well rather than staying alert for danger. I have seen how reassurance improves outcomes. Older adults who trust these systems tend to feel less burdened. Their energy stays focused on maintaining routines, staying socially connected, and caring for themselves gently. That emotional balance supports immune health and cognitive clarity. Science also learned that communication matters. When information is shared clearly and without urgency, people follow guidance more easily. Confusion decreases, and cooperation increases. This is especially helpful for those living with memory changes, who benefit from calm repetition rather than sudden alarms. Looking back at these outbreaks, the message remains steady. Preparedness does not require fear. It requires patience, routine, and trust in systems designed to protect you so you do not have to carry the burden alone. Staying informed without overload. One of the most common challenges I see in older adults today is not a lack of information, but an overload of it. Health headlines arrive quickly, often without context, and they are designed to grab attention rather than offer understanding. Over time, this constant stream can quietly harm senior health by keeping the nervous system on edge. I have cared for many patients who told me they felt more tired, more anxious, and more forgetful after spending too much time following health news. This reaction is not imagined. When the brain is flooded with urgent messages, it struggles to sort what truly matters. Sleep becomes lighter, focus drifts, and the body remains in a state of alert that it was never meant to sustain. Staying informed should feel steady, not stressful. It means choosing sources that explain rather than alarm, and allowing information to arrive at a pace the mind can absorb. When learning feels calm, understanding settles in naturally. The body relaxes, and memory holds on to what is important. This is the heart of why Senior Health Daily exists. This channel was created as a quiet, reliable place where older adults can return for clarity without pressure. Here, health topics are discussed with patience, respect, and an understanding of how aging minds and bodies respond to stress. The goal is not to react to every headline, but to place health information into perspective so daily life can continue undisturbed. Before we continue, if this video is helping you understand your health, please subscribe, like, and share Senior Health Daily. It gives us the motivation to create more life-saving content for you. I have seen how consistency matters. Many seniors find comfort in hearing the same calm voice and familiar tone. That predictability supports emotional balance, especially for those managing memory changes or caring for loved ones with dementia. Familiar spaces reduce anxiety and build trust. Supporting a source that values calm communication is not just helpful for you. It also allows this kind of care-focused education to reach others who may be feeling overwhelmed. When information is shared gently, it becomes a form of support rather than a source of strain. Everyday habits that quietly protect seniors. When I look back on decades of caring for older adults, I'm reminded again and again that health is most often protected by the simplest habits. These are not dramatic actions. They are quiet, familiar routines that gently support the body day after day. For seniors, especially those living alone, these habits offer more than physical protection. They preserve dignity and independence. Simple practices like washing fruits and vegetables, keeping kitchens clean, and storing food carefully may seem ordinary, but they are deeply effective. They reduce exposure to many common germs and help the immune system do its work without extra strain. More importantly, they create a sense of order. When the environment feels clean and predictable, the mind feels calmer. Routine plays a powerful role in this. Preparing meals at familiar times, cleaning up afterward, and moving through the day in a steady rhythm sends a message of safety to the brain. That message matters. When the brain feels safe, stress hormones decrease, digestion improves, and sleep becomes more restful. These changes support memory, balance, and overall energy. I have worked with many seniors who lived alone and took great pride in their daily routines. They often told me that these habits gave structure to their day. Even on mornings when they felt tired or uncertain, making breakfast or wiping down the counter helped them feel grounded. Science supports this experience. Predictable routines reduce cognitive load, meaning the brain uses less energy to make decisions. This is especially helpful as memory changes with age. Clean kitchens also protect against foodborne illnesses, which can be harder on aging bodies. The immune response may be slower, making prevention especially valuable. These simple steps reduce unnecessary challenges and help seniors maintain strength for the activities they enjoy. What matters most is not perfection, but consistency. A routine does not need to be rigid to be protective. It simply needs to be familiar. Familiarity builds confidence. Confidence supports independence. Independence reinforces dignity. For seniors living alone, these habits are acts of self-respect. They say, "I am caring for myself. I am capable." That sense of capability carries into other parts of life, from managing appointments to staying socially connected. Everyday habits may not make headlines, but they quietly protect health in ways that last. They allow seniors to move through life with steadiness, confidence, and the reassurance that they are doing enough, simply by caring for themselves in familiar and meaningful ways. Dementia, care, and gentle communication. When someone is living with memory changes, the way information is delivered can shape their entire emotional experience. I have seen this countless times in caregiving settings. Fear-based information does not educate a person with dementia. It overwhelms them. Even when the facts are accurate, a tone of urgency or alarm can quickly increase confusion. The brain affected by dementia processes emotion faster than logic. This means that before a person understands the words being spoken, they already feel the emotion behind them. If the emotion is tense or fearful, the body reacts as if danger is present. Heart rate increases, muscles tighten. The mind searches for meaning but cannot organize it. Confusion grows, and trust can slip away. This is why reassurance is such a powerful form of care. Simple, calm statements, repeated gently, help the nervous system settle. Repetition is not a failure of communication. It is how safety is restored again and again. Each time a calm message is repeated, it reassures the brain that nothing urgent is required. From years of caregiving, I have learned that saying less often helps more. Long explanations about health topics, especially distant or abstract risks, rarely bring comfort to someone with memory loss. What helps most is grounding the person in the present moment, letting them know they are safe, letting them know they are cared for. letting them know that everything important is being handled. Emotional safety is essential for preserving dignity. When a person feels emotionally secure, they are more likely to cooperate with care, eat more regularly, and rest more peacefully. Research in neurology supports this. Stress hormones worsen confusion and impair memory further. Calm environments and gentle communication reduce these effects and support cognitive stability for as long as possible. For caregivers, this approach requires patience. It may feel repetitive, it may feel slow, but it is deeply effective. Each calm interaction builds trust. Over time, that trust becomes the foundation for daily routines like meals, bathing, and sleep. These routines anchor the person in a world that still feels predictable. It is also important to protect individuals with dementia from unnecessary health information. They do not need to carry the weight of understanding global medical issues. That responsibility belongs to caregivers and health professionals. Their role is simply to live their day with as much comfort and familiarity as possible. Gentle communication is not about avoiding truth. It is about delivering care in a way the brain can receive. By choosing reassurance over alarm and repetition over correction, caregivers protect emotional safety. In doing so, they preserve dignity, comfort, and connection, even as memory changes. Community and shared care. As we move through later life, one truth becomes clearer with each passing year. Health is not something we carry alone. It is shaped by the people around us, the systems that support us, and the sense of connection we feel each day. In my years of caring for older adults, I have seen how powerful shared care can be. Feeling supported changes how the body responds to aging. When seniors know they are not alone, stress levels decrease. The nervous system settles. This is not just an emotional comfort. Science has shown that social connection is closely linked to better cognitive health. Older adults who feel connected tend to maintain clearer thinking, steadier moods, and greater resilience over time. Isolation, on the other hand, increases stress hormones and can accelerate memory decline. Community does not have to mean constant activity or large social circles. Often, it is the quiet knowledge that someone is paying attention. It may be a family member who checks in, a neighbor who notices routines, or a trusted source of health guidance that feels familiar. These connections signal safety to the brain. When the brain feels safe, it functions more efficiently. I have seen this repeatedly in my patients. Those who felt supported were more confident in managing their health. They asked questions without fear. They followed routines more consistently. They trusted their bodies and the care systems around them. This trust allowed them to conserve energy for living rather than worrying. Shared care also means trusting the systems designed to protect older adults. Public health programs, medical professionals, and community services work together quietly. Their role is to monitor, guide, and respond so individuals do not have to remain on constant alert. This layered protection is especially important for elders, whose well-being depends on steadiness rather than urgency. For those living with memory changes, community becomes even more essential. Familiar faces, repeated connections, and predictable interactions create emotional anchors. Even when details fade, the feeling of being supported often remains. That feeling reduces agitation and supports cooperation with daily care. Trust in community does not remove independence. It strengthens it. When seniors know support exists, they feel freer to engage with life. They move more confidently. They remain curious. They stay connected. Health grows strongest when it is shared. Feeling supported is not a weakness. It is a form of care that protects the mind, steadies the heart, and allows aging to unfold with dignity. When community and systems work together, older adults can focus on living fully, knowing they are not carrying the journey alone. Trusting the body and medical care. As we come to the close of this longer conversation, I want to return to something deeply important. Aging brings wisdom. It brings a lifetime of learning how your body speaks to you and how to respond with care rather than urgency. Awareness is meant to expand confidence, not shrink daily life. Over many years in medicine, I have learned to trust the body's quiet intelligence. Even as it ages, the body continues to adapt. It may move more slowly, but it also becomes more honest. It tells you when rest is needed, when nourishment matters, and when calm is essential. When older adults learn to listen without fear, the body often responds with resilience. Medical care exists to support this wisdom, not replace it. Doctors, nurses, and healthcare systems are partners in your well-being. Their role is to monitor, guide, and step in when necessary so that you can continue living your life with steadiness. When care is trusted, the mind relaxes. When the mind relaxes, the body functions better. I have seen seniors limit their lives because of worry. They stopped walking, visiting friends, or trying new activities, not because their bodies could not handle it, but because fear took over. Over time, that shrinking of daily life weakened strength, balance, and confidence more than any illness ever could have. Awareness should protect engagement, not reduce it. Science supports this. Regular movement helps maintain muscle strength and balance. Social connection supports memory and emotional health. Staying curious and engaged keeps the brain active. These are not extras, they are essential parts of healthy aging. Avoidance weakens them. Participation strengthens them. Trusting your body also means trusting its ability to recover and adjust. Aging does not remove that ability. It refines it. Each year adds perspective, patience, and understanding. These qualities support health in ways no medication ever could. As a physician, I want older adults to feel empowered rather than cautious, informed rather than burdened, calm rather than alert. When health information is placed in proper context, it allows life to continue with meaning and connection. The purpose of learning about topics like the Nipah virus is not to create fear. It is to build understanding so confidence can grow. With clear guidance, trusted medical care, and respect for your body's wisdom, daily life can remain full, active, and dignified. You are not fragile. You are experienced. And that experience is one of your greatest strengths as you continue engaging with life, movement, and the connections that make each day worth living. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to slow everything down and thank you for staying with me. Listening with care is already an act of strength. You did not need to solve anything today. Understanding alone is enough for this moment. When we step back and look at what we have shared, the story of the Nipah virus is really a story about balance. It is about how nature works, how science studies quietly and carefully, and how calm caregiving protects health more effectively than fear ever could. When those pieces stay in balance, the body and mind feel steadier. I want to reassure you that you do not need to change the way you live or carry extra worry into your days. Aging bodies respond best to steadiness. Familiar routines, gentle movement, regular meals, and emotional safety are powerful forms of care. These rhythms support immunity, memory, and rest in ways that constant alertness never will. For those of you caring for a loved one with memory loss, I want to speak to you directly. Your patience matters. Your calm presence matters. Reassurance offered again and again is not small. Even when words are forgotten, the feeling of safety remains, and that feeling is a deep form of protection. Health is not about controlling every unknown. It is about trusting the body, trusting careful science, and allowing understanding to grow at a humane pace. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. You are doing enough by showing up with openness and care. Senior Health Daily is here as a quiet, reliable place you can return to whenever health news feels overwhelming. You are not alone on this path, and there is never a need to rush your understanding. I invite you to stay connected with us so we can continue walking forward together with patience, dignity, and calm.